Man. Oh, I just recorded everything. I recorded a whole video and I didn't press record. Anyways, right. Welcome to this video. It's the principle of mentalism that we're gonna cover. I'm gonna cover it in more detail. In my previous video, if you go to my catalog of videos on this page, you will see that I went through the fundamentals and the fundamental description of each hermetic principle and also kind of touched on each one and also added a few notes on each on the hermetic principles as a whole, really. The notes being, that each hermetic principle will reveal itself in the time. Understanding the hermetic principles is basically understanding the nature of reality, and also understanding that there are particular thoughts, feelings, and emotions which keep you in the illusion that you are not in control, when in reality, you are a sovereign being with, of course, free will in this plane, but it goes beyond that. You are actually just having this experience because you chose to, so it's a choice. It's You already know everything that you will experience here, but we chose to forget. And you're actually a being with limitless potential. That is actually the truth. And you are eternal. You cannot die. You cannot perish. You are part of everything, but also have your own individual expression and your own consciousness. And that is why it's so important to know that these hermetic principles are to be understood, and then they will reveal themselves. The hermetic principles, once you learn about it, they reveal themselves. And this is why it's so powerful. So let's continue. We are covering the principle of mentalism in great detail. And I've just added a little bit of text over here just so we can see what it means, what potential meanings it could mean, just to understand it, and then understanding transcendence of that. So whatever description you have of the thing which makes reality reality is indescribable. It's unknowable. It's indefinable. But for the sake of learning, and perhaps honest, you might be someone like myself that went through these experiences. You've literally had out of body experiences, you've lived it, and now you're learning about it. Or you could be someone that is being exposed to this information so that you can continue to, awaken and remember that, reawaken, so to say, reawaken your true self. So let's continue. So this principle states that all is mind and all existing in the mind of one. The one is projecting itself. The one that you are part of, it is you. It's actually the consciousness which knows that you are aware, because you are aware that you are aware of your awareness. If you keep stripping her back and back and back and back, then basically you can go on forever. You can say, well, I know that I'm aware, or I know that I have awareness, but how am I aware that I know that I have the awareness? That when you get to the end point, when you finally just give up the logical thinking, you will reach the point where it's unknowable, it's indescribable. And that's really what it is. It really is what it is. Okay. So, understanding this principle helps to see that our entire reality is a projection from a source. We are projecting from the consciousness, from pure consciousness. And I'm going to explain it in the image that is over here. I'll go over it after we cover this bit over here. So, reality is a projection from a source, the source of which is you, as you are part of the source and not separate in any way. You are not separate. You're not separate from the creation, neither are you separate from the creator. You are all. You are literally the creation and the creator. So, reality is somewhat of a mental projection. It's consciousness literally projecting these things. Now, you can take out the word mind, you can take out the word mental. It's nothing to do with your mind per se. It's to do with the function of what is happening. That's what it's to do with. So you can imagine your mind as a projector casting reality like images on a screen. You could even say you could imagine your consciousness, or you could imagine pure consciousness as a projector casting reality like images on a screen. Okay, casting it into your awareness that you have here, the consciousness that you have on this physical realm, your kind of your finite mind. So it's going from the infinite to the finite to then make something from it, because the infinite is like, how do you visualize the infinite? How do you visualize every single thing, every grain of sand, every insect, every cell, everything? It's unknowable, it's indefinable, because it's actually that which you are. So the universe is a grand projection of the all's infinite consciousness, with you as both a participant and co-creator. We could even say creator and not co-creator, because you are the creator. So you are the participant. As I mentioned, you are the creation and the creator. For example, if you have a dream, you create entire worlds within your mind that feel real. Similarly, this principle of mentalism reveals that our waking reality is a mental construct within the mind of the all. So you can kind of think about it as your physical experience that you're having right now is as a preview of what is happening in the greater scheme of things. Just as you can create things, you can visualize things, you can mentally project things, these kinds of stuff, with that is happening on a bigger scale. As we'll talk later in the second principle of the second hermetic principle, which is correspondence, we will see that it's as above, so below, as below, so above. So everything that you are experiencing and doing and can do in this physical incarnation, in this physical realm, in this reality, is basically a preview of what is actually happens at a bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger scale. Bigger, not meaning that it's more advanced or more spiritual. It just means that that is how it functions. So let's continue now. I added this example because it perfectly encapsulated the thing that I experienced when I was a child. So I learned about Taoism independently, and I learned about Hermeticism independently. But I found that there's these correlations, and you can make correlations with everything. You can metaphorize, draw similarities between anything. It doesn't matter what it is. So this is nothing special, but it just gives us a greater context as to what it means and what the all means and what that awareness or pure consciousness means. So much like the Tao of Taoism, the all is the great mystery. The Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. The nameless is the beginning of heaven and earth. Ignore heaven and earth. It's just heaven and earth is just there to obviously describe everything. Heaven, earth, or creation, basically. Um, but that thing that's eternal, that's nameless, that's pure consciousness. Even just calling it pure consciousness is labeling it and naming it. But that which is undefinable and unknowable, or unknowable, is the Tao. It's the all. It's the thing that projects itself. That's what we essentially coming to, and that is the thing that is in everyone and everything. Let's continue. So, as it says in the Kybalion, the all creates universes in its own mentality, but your universe is the mental creation of a finite mind, whereas that of the all is the creation of an infinite. The two are similar in kind, but infinitely different in degree. Again, we will see later when we cover the principle of polarity that everything is actually on the same thing. It's just varying in degrees. And this is it. This is what I was telling you earlier about, that it's just kind of a preview. It's a taster of what of how realities actually work in your own life, is actually a reflection of what is going on a greater scale, and a greater spiritual scale as well. You are literally living that to understand it, and embody it, and you are embodying the exact thing of the mentalism. You are embodying pure consciousness. The all is in all, but it is also true that all are in all, or all are in the all. There is no separation. As I said earlier, you're not separate from any way in source. The source is you, and you are also of source. Your finite mind is created from the infinite mind, or we could even say your infinite mind, because we can literally give it to you, and I can take it for me, and that person can take it for them, because that's what it is. It's because we all have that. We all have the unlimited, eternal, nameless, pure consciousness source that is flowing through us to have this experience, or else we wouldn't have this experience. Once you don't have consciousness, you wouldn't even know anything exists, because you wouldn't even exist. You wouldn't have even have an awareness that you exist. And I've experienced this. I know what it feels like to be the single light of consciousness lit in the space of nothing. Um, that you might have had that experience, or you might not have. It's okay, because it's both the same thing. But what I can say for certain is that you are a light of consciousness in a big field of nothing. There's actually everything is actually nothing, and actually nothing is also everything. So in that space, you will see that you are still there's still a light of consciousness shining basically on your essence, and that is giving you this understanding that you are aware, and you can reach that place. That state is it's actually a type of experience, and it's a type of existence that is just as true as real life. And I experienced that through very, very deep meditation. Not taught, not guided, just reached it there. And I've been there since a kid. I've seen it since young, and I've understood it to this degree that it's unknowable, it's indefinable since young. I've already had these experiences. That being said, what I'm trying to get to is that it's an experience. Okay, to understand and see that all is in all, as an experience. It really is an experience, and I wouldn't share this information if I just haven't experienced it. So, your finite mind mirrors the infinite mind of the all, differingly only in scale. When you imagine or visualize, you engage in a smaller act of creation akin to the all's universal creation. Like I said, the preview. You are the previews of what's happening at a greater spiritual scale, what's happening at a greater scale. As Rumi said, you are not a drop in the ocean, you are the entire ocean in a drop. Remember, everything that exists, everything that is now is you, and you are part of that. Don't think it's separate in any way, shape, or form, because that is not true. Now, this image over here is basically an image I like to use to explain how pure consciousness is projecting itself, or manifesting the infinite is manifesting into the finite. And what I like to present it as is that this is right here is pure consciousness. This is the pure awareness, the eternal, the nameless that we can say. And this precedes and underlies all of reality. All right, this is the thing that is. This is the all that is, and it is that. Okay, and then as we experience physical reality, this prism is what I call. It's not per se a prism shape. It might be a prism shape, but what I like to see it as is the manifestation process, the where the generation of the manifestation happens, where it gets generated, and then the all is expressed in all. And these rays of light is, let's say the full spectrum of light, the full spectrum of experiences, the full spectrum of things, of emotions, of thoughts, of physical density, light, and everything like that. So it's everything that you can think of: cells, molecules, grains of sand, blah, 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 everything. Okay, and the all is basically manifesting itself into this thing, which makes it finite, but it becomes everything that we know, and it becomes everything that is. Um, so this is what I present it as. All right. The prism is the mechanism through which we are manifested. This is your ability to project your consciousness into this realm to exist and have your being. You have an awareness that you are aware, that you are, you are alive. You have this type of thing, or you have this experience that you know that, well, I know that I'm thinking, and I know that I'm thinking, that I'm aware. Okay. Um, you're projecting from the infinite space of nothing, then but also everything, and then projecting into this realm, and that's how you know that you exist. That's how you know you are you have your being. You know this because you are doing this. As I said earlier, just like we are projecting our own mental creations, and also creating manifestations on this create in this created realm. uh that's what's happening with us, and that's our experience, because it's coming from us too. So everything essentially comes from this underlying reality of all. And understanding mentalism is just understanding that there's a pure consciousness, and it's creating everything, because it's nothing, but it's also everything, and it's actually just creating nothing. Okay, nothing and everything exist in the same realm. Nothing is everything, and everything is nothing. Nothing matters, yet everything matters. But also everything matters because it's nothing. That's essentially what we are getting down to. Lovely. Wow, that was quite the breakdown. Um yeah, that's it. Principle of mentalism, the first hermetic principle to understanding, as I've mentioned before. If you are, you've either experienced this, or you're seeing this information to help you learn, this is it. This is what it's about. Yeah, I mean, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. We can discuss, as it were. If there's anything that comes up from this experience, what I would recommend is, before trying to figure it out, let it show itself. Let the principle reveal itself. Let it play out in your life to show you how it plays out, and then come to your questions, and come to your formulations, or your judgments, or whatever they may be. Okay, thank you very much for listening. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you on the next one, where we talk about the principle of correspondence. Thank you. Peace out.